Each transition in the collection of Ripple Timelands transition effects has the same basic structure, but with different layouts. And it's important to understand how this structure functions. Here, for example, I have the momentum transition applied in the timeline. If we look in the viewer, there is a transition A and a transition B. These occur in every single transition. Transition A represents the outgoing video clip. Transition B represents the incoming video clip. So you have to have those because they are each side of the transition. In addition to transition A and transition B are a series of drop zones, and each transition effect may have a different number of them. If I just drag another one on top here, I'll take calendar this time. Once again, we have transition A and transition B, and we can see that the images here match the images in the timeline. Or I'll take this one called event and drop it in. And once again, here's A and here's B and a series of drop zones. So that's the basic idea. Let's go ahead and put this momentum back on here again. Is that you always have A and B, and then transition always moves from A to B no matter what. So if you want A to be somewhere else, you can move it, and we'll get into that in another tip. But the basic structure is that transition will always move from A to B no matter where A is located graphically or no matter where B is located graphically. Let's just back up and step through the transition. We start on A, then the camera flies back, and you can change how the camera flies back and how much it flies back. And then we move into transition B. All these transitions work the same way, going from A to B. And then the drop zones are optional additional content that you can put in here, and you can move where these occur so that you can move from this point to this point by moving transition A over there. The other basic thing that is structurally identical in all of these is how they're laid out in the inspector. So if I select this transition and open the inspector, we have a series of controls. And I'll just give a quick overview here. There's always some quick tips at the beginning. If I turn those on, it gives us sort of a couple of hints on how to best use each of these transitions. This text is the same for all of them, so once you understand it, it applies everywhere. I'll turn that off. Next, there will always be a view, which we'll cover in another short tip, and some framing options. After that will be a bunch of formatting options for changing the color and the format of things. And then at the bottom will always be the drop zone controls, where you can choose different content for the drop zones and format that content and the text that goes with the drop zone. That basic structure applies for every single one of the transition effects. And if you just understand that it always moves from A to B, you'll be able to make best use of these.